Hey everybody, this is Rosita, and this is my fine arts lesson plan that I would like to present. The title of it is Let's Make Good Choices for the Environment. It would be whole group for first grade. The content area is social studies with arts, and the social studies standard is choices have consequences. I wasn't too sure about the art standards, however, I chose Anchor Standard number 11, relate artistic ideas and works with social, cultural, and historical context to deepen understanding, and Anchor Standard number 2, organize and develop artistic ideas and work. So I always have my objective, like the teachers for like administrators, down at the bottom of my PowerPoint. And then I always state the kid-friendly objective that usually starts with, today we will visualize an imaginary field trip to the forest. We will discuss how our choices can impact others. We will discuss reuse, reduce, and recycle. We will read the story titled How We Clean Up a Park with a Partner. Finally, we will create a poster to remind others of good choices. So that would be my objectives. Don't need much materials for this other than, the PowerPoint, a projector. For their poster, just white paper and crayons, markers. So I would first go over CHAMPS, what my expectations are. And then on the second slide, it's a postcard. So I would introduce the imaginary scenario that our class has been invited to Gifford Pinchot National Forest for a 2-day camping trip. So I would get kids excited and talk about our imaginary trip. Slide number 3 is a think, pair, share. So the question that kids would discuss with a shoulder buddy is what types of animals would they like to see when they get to the forest, or what they would like to see. And I would like them to use the sentence stems that I have provided in red. And then I would just let them partner share for a minute, and then use the Dojo random feature on the app to select a couple of students to share what they would like to see using the sentence stem. And then I could talk about, what is a forest, what happens during a camping trip from students. And then we would talk about what we would need on a camping trip. So then the kids would think, pair, share with a buddy what they think that we would need. And again, they would need to use the sentence stems provided. They would share for a minute, and then the teacher would write the different things that the students shared out loud on the whiteboard. And I think giving the opportunity for every student to share their idea would be ideal. And then, I would have the kids, okay, we're ready to pack. You guys picked great things. And let's pretend to pack. So the kids would pretend they're packing their imaginary suitcase or backpack. And then, all right, it's time to go. So the bus is here for our imaginary trip. So I'd have students stand up, and then we'd line up and walk around the room and sit back down on the carpet and pretend that they are now on the bus ready for the National Forest. I would discuss just how nature and animals don't need humans to survive, and just how beautiful Mother Nature is, and that animals prefer to live away from people, and how humans should respect animals and our planet. And then the teacher would have the students close their eyes because they've drifted to sleep on the bus. So she'll turn off the lights and play like nature sounds from the forest using her phone. And then she can softly state that while on the bus, they have a dream about the forest. And then in a calm manner, when the lights are off, she could say, you dream about the forest so green with nice cool shade, many tall trees with large branches that are covered in leaves. bushes and plants at the bottom. So many animals. It's so luscious, so peaceful and beautiful. Like I said, like forest sounds would be playing in the background. And then I would turn on the light, stop the music, and instruct the kids to open their eyes. And when they open their eyes, this will be projected. And so we talk about, that we've arrived, and, ask the kids, what's wrong and why. And we discuss who made the mess and where the trash came from. They would think, pair, share about what we can do now. So the teacher should lead the students towards cleaning up the trash, which can be hazardous to animals and humans, and what would be the safest way to do so. So the teacher starts talking about pollution, and the students share about what they know about pollution. Then on the next slide, 10 and 11 would be the intro to pollution. So discussing that littering is a type of pollution found on that slide where the forest has been littered, and that trash can end up miles away. Students share what they know about pollution and types of pollution. So I would just read both of these two slides, and then I would give them they would give me thumbs up or thumbs down if they got the concept of pollution. Then I would go into detail about each type of pollution: air pollution, water, noise, and land pollution, and thumbs up or thumbs down if they want to share something or if they understand the types of pollution. Then here, this is just for them to think, so reflect. So I would ask them, how does a human's choice of pollution or choosing to pollute affect forest animals? And then, how does it affect other people? I would just give them a little bit of time to reflect on that. And then I would show them this, which hopefully would make a big impact. I've taught this lesson before, and it did with first graders. They were shocked. And I would discuss each image and label the type of pollution, and then we'd discuss each image, and then we would go through and label the type of pollution it is, whether air, water, land, or sound, and what it could have been a better choice, and how that could have been prevented to affect and how it affects animals and humans. Then they would think, pair, share with the buddy. So how did those images make you feel? They would use a sentence stem, either turn their shoulder buddy and say, the images made me feel sad that the animals were dead or trapped, or I am disgusted. After that, allowing them to think, pair, share. As a class, they would just raise their hand and provide good choices that they could make to keep our environment clean, and I would write them on the board. And then we'd go into discussing that our final two things are, we will read a book, and they will create a poster. They could use reduce, reuse, and recycle. And with this slide, I would go through each of those and explain each of them and what are examples of reuse, reduce, and recycle. And then I would have them note the poster here because they're going to create a poster as their final project. I would tell them that they're going to get on an iPad with a partner and read the story How We Clean Up a Park on Epic. And then after they get done with reading with the partner, they can, at a level 0, independently create their poster that will be displayed around the school about reusing, reducing, and recycling. And I would pass out the rubric. For as I went through each of them. Which would display different levels. So excellent means that it's neat, the title pops. The poster is exceptionally attractive design and layout. You know, of course, these are first graders, but, you know, you can tell when a kid somewhat takes his time and when they don't. So that would be the little rubric that I would give them. And that was, let's make a poster to let others know what they can do to help the environment. And we could, I could write different words that they might need for their poster, such as reduce, reuse, and recycle. And after that, sorry, I would, you know, ask them thumbs up or thumbs down if they knew what to do. And as an exit ticket, so for my closure, I would say, you know, before we break into partners to begin reading and working on your poster independently, after you're done, you will share one thing that you can do to avoid polluting as their little exit ticket to leave the carpet with their partner. I would pull sticks and they would tell me one thing that they could do at home or at school, such as, you know, turning off the water or picking up trash, making sure their parents don't litter. And I would ask if anybody had questions, and then I would tell them, you know, that remind them of their voice level, and that was about it for my lesson.